Hello everyone, Kristen Epper, founder of Work Like a Girl, and you are watching Work Like a Girl Wednesday. So today we are talking about giving and receiving feedback. And so this topic came about as I was out with some friends the other evening, and one of the women in the group was criticizing some of her colleagues. And for me, it was a really uncomfortable situation. So I wanted to talk about some of the more productive ways in which we can provide feedback, maybe in the form of criticism, to other individuals, and then also the best ways to receive feedback or even criticism from other individuals. So first and foremost, I want to take a step back and invite you to be introspective for a moment, because usually when we criticize somebody else, it really is a finger pointing at our own fears. So let me give you an example. If I were to come back from a work trip and criticize a panelist or a speaker about the fact that she used the word and I thought it made her sound inarticulate and unintelligent, typically what's going on there, if I dig a little deeper, is that's revealing my own fears. It's revealing that I feel like I'm not that articulate, and that I feel like I am not that intelligent, and also a fear of lack. Part of what might be going on is I'm asking the question, and I'm jealous, why did she get that opportunity when I didn't? And the reason for that is a lot of times we perceive opportunity as though it's a pie, and there's only so much to go around. That's not actually true. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I invite you to just sit with that and really consider the criticism that you're providing for other people, because it's that old adage, when you point the finger at somebody, there are 4 fingers pointing back at you. So if that's the case, then how do we properly deliver feedback and properly receive it? So here are some things to do instead. So first and foremost, if this is not an individual that you supervise, it might be a situation out of work, or it might be a colleague and you just don't have jurisdiction over them, then the proper way to do that is ask if they are interested in feedback. An example from my own life, I used to be a personal trainer, and a lot of times I'll go to the gym and I'll see people not using proper form, and my antenna goes up when I see that. But it's not my job to intervene and disrupt their workout to provide them my knowledge. They have to be open to it. So I'll do it if I see somebody that might be hurting themselves, and I'll just ask them, oh, what muscle are you trying to work there? And would you be open to me showing you a better way to do that? And I'll ask those questions before I will proceed to advise them. So you have to make sure that they're in a position where they're willing to receive before you impart your wisdom upon them. Now, if you are a supervisor, what you need to do is explain what I call the if-then impact. And here's how that works. So if someone has been assigned a project or been told to do something and they are not achieving those results, you have to lay out that line of thinking for them. We have to do X. You've done A, B, and C. It has not resulted in X. And then the third part is the most important, the impact. And that means you provide them actionable feedback. And the reason this is so important, and I want to press this point, is a lot of times women and other marginalized individuals will receive feedback that's not based on performance, but just based on how they show up. And usually that is based on bias and old stereotypes about how women or marginalized individuals should be behaving. Women are twice as likely as men to be attacked personally based on their tone, or they speak too directly, or they're too aggressive, which is based on stereotypes that say that women should be passive and they should not be ambitious. So I invite you to look at your own preconceived notions about how other individuals behave if it is not directly related to results and you're not able to provide actionable feedback. It might be, but you also need to take the time to deliver some actionable steps that actually move the needle. That was a lot of actuallys, but hopefully you got the point. And then finally, if you are on the receiving end of feedback, you have to understand, first and foremost, we're going to kind of reverse engineer what I just said from a different perspective. But anytime someone provides you feedback, again, they're really showing their own hand, even if it's a compliment. So if I say, I love your sweater, and it's a red sweater, my favorite color is red. So that's probably more about me than it is about you. You might look lovely, but the fact that that's my favorite color really amplifies the point. So you have to ask the question whether or not it's true, especially as a woman, especially knowing that a lot of times we're attacked personally rather than on the merits of an argument or the merits of our work. And then finally, we also want to hold the other person accountable as far as actionable steps. So if someone says that you are too direct or you are too aggressive, ask them for examples of what you should do instead. And if they can't provide that to you, I think that's very clear in indicating that there is bias at work. So I hope that these tips have been helpful. If so, I invite you to share this video with your friends, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Work Like a Girl. Until then.